Hello everyone and welcome back to what should be a nice and fun video to look back on. It is my 2022/23 Premier League predictions and I have no idea who I've gone anywhere really. So I have no doubts that by the end of this video I'm going to look like someone who has zero ball knowledge. But it should be a lot of fun, so let's get into it. But before we do actually, if you guys could hit the subscription button, that would mean the world to me. We're on 647, so if you can maybe hit 650 within the next few days, that would mean the world to me. But yeah, let's go into my relegation battle. So in the relegation battle, we've gone with Bournemouth, Fulham and Brentford. Now, those are some absolutely horrendous selections. Brentford and Fulham both actually finished 9th and 10th. So they had fantastic seasons. I thought that Brentford might struggle a little bit with the loss of Eriksen. I felt like he was a big catalyst as to why they actually ended up staying up, because they did struggle a little bit, didn't they? But yeah, no, it wasn't to be. They thrived. They really did thrive. Ivan Toney got, I think, 20 plus league goals. And yeah, he smashed it. So Thomas Frank did a fantastic job. And the same goes for Marco Silva as well. Joao Palhinha was a superb signing. I did actually mention that in the video, that he was a good signing. I thought it would be. And yeah, he turned out to be, you know, superseded expectations. He was very good. And a big reason to why they got mid-table. Let's have a look at the bottom half of the table. We've got Palace, Brighton, Leeds, Southampton, Nottingham Forest and Everton. Now, we'll start with the bottom three there. Everton, Forest and Southampton. Southampton obviously got relegated. They came brick last, so they had an awful season. But I did get Everton and Forest right, so I suppose that's something, isn't it? Everton, I thought they'd struggle, don't score enough goals, and they only had Calvert-Lewin to do so, and he got injured quite a lot. And Forest, you know, they signed a lot of players, and a lot of people did actually predict them to go down. I thought they'd have enough in the locker, and they did, so fair play to them. Leeds at 14th. They actually came 19th, I think it was, got relegated. Brighton, I truly underestimated. I did think they played good football, but De Zerbi, ever since he came in, I mean, to be fair, Potter did a good job as well, but then De Zerbi came in and he was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They play amazing football. They have a great bunch of players. A lot of them are young as well. Unfortunately, they are probably going to get raided, aren't they, by a lot of the bigger clubs, but I'm sure they're just going to, their recruitment team is fantastic. They'll sign some new players. You know, they need a squad now for Europe as well. First time they've got Europe, I believe it is, so well done to them. Palace, I think, came 11th in the end. So pretty close prediction, to be honest. Not too far off there. I'll take that one. So 11 to 7, I've gone Wolves, Newcastle, Villa, Leicester and West Ham. Now, a few of these had awful seasons. We'll start with Leicester. They actually got relegated. 18th place they came in the end. They had an awful season. I thought their squad was good enough. I thought they had a great bunch of players. They just didn't turn up, did they? Rodgers just couldn't get it out of them. And yeah, he ended up getting sacked as well. And I do feel bad for them because I think they're going to get raided in the Championship. I do think a lot of their players are going to go. So we'll see how they do there. Aston Villa ended up getting in the Europe spot. I had this prediction obviously based on when they had Steven Gerrard as manager. They ended up getting Unai Emery, who done an amazing job. And, you know, Ollie Watkins ended up turning into a beast. Wolves... not a bad prediction. I think they came 13th in the end, so pretty close. Newcastle actually got top 4. I didn't expect them to do so well in the first season under the new ownership and whatnot, but they done amazing. They really did. Eddie Howe's a fantastic manager. He's someone that I wanted for England for a long time. Unfortunately, now it's not looking likely, is it? He's going to probably be at Newcastle for the long term. But yeah, I think Newcastle's prospects look great moving forward. Got a great bunch of players, and now they're going to get a cash injection probably in the summer to go and spend some cash. So they look good. And then West Ham. I thought West Ham would have another good season. They signed a few decent players, Skamaka, Paqueta, but unfortunately it wasn't to be for them. They are having a good Europe run, so if they can cap off the season with that, I'm sure they won't mind. But I think they finished, what, 14th in the end. So, yeah, not the best for them. So, on to 5th and 6th, I've gone with Chelsea and Manchester United. We'll start off with Chelsea. They ended up coming 12th in the league, which is absolutely shocking for them. They switched managers about 3 times and ended up having the worst manager in the end in the league. They spent about 600 million in January as well and still stunk the place out. They came, what, yeah, 12th, I think it was. And, yeah, they just don't look very good. They've now got Pochettino coming in for next season, so we'll see where they come. But I didn't think they'd have that good of a season, which is why I put them 6th in the first place. I didn't rate the signings of Sterling and Koulibaly. A lot of people did, but for me, I didn't think they'd work out, and I ended up being right. But to be fair, the whole of Chelsea didn't work out, so yeah. But I've gone with 6th in the end. it's pretty poor prediction, I suppose. But I thought Chelsea, having at least a decent crop of players, would do better than they did. Then in fifth, I went with my team, Manchester United. I thought this was going to be like the rebuilding season for Ten Hag. It's his first one, comes in, the expectations are not so high, and which is why I thought we might get fifth. I did, in the video, I believe I explained that I thought it was going to be fifth or fourth for Manchester United. I ended up going with fifth in the end. We definitely exceeded expectations there, I feel, for me. We ended up getting third, and you know what? 75 points in the end for Manchester United is a superb return, considering how bad we were the season before that. We also lacked a proper goal scorer up front as well. Martial was out for half of the season, and then we had Weghorst. So yeah, to get third with that, I'm very, very happy with that. Ten Hag's done a fantastic job, as well as getting the Carabao Cup and potentially the FA Cup. So great season. Hopefully we can build on it next season. And then let's move on to who I predicted to come fourth. I believe I had Arsenal in fourth. I did think Arsenal were going to have a decent season, and they did in the end. They had a much better season than I even thought. I thought the signings were good of Jesus, Zinchenko, and then of course they got back Saliba as well. I believe he was on loan. So they're all good recruitments there. And, you could see Arteta was building something. There was a lot of young players that were playing and stuff like that. So, I thought Arsenal were going to have a good season. They ended up absolutely smashing it, challenging City for a lot of the way. Unfortunately, they did not get there in the end. But you know what? It's not to a fault of their own. City are just a very, very strong team. Got Champions League for the first time in a very long time as well. So fair play to them. Let's move on to who we have in third. And I believe it is Tottenham Hotspurs. It is. So Spurs in the end did miss out on top four. They ended up coming in eighth. So yeah, I mean, they were challenging a lot of the way for top four when they had like Conte, and then Ryan Mason came in. They started to slow down a bit. And to be honest, if they didn't have Harry Kane, they'd probably be in the bottom half of the table. That man got 30 goals in that side. I mean, what a performance from Harry Kane. He basically put the team on the back. So fair play to Kane, but he needs to leave. I'll take him, Manchester United. Get your checkbook out. Let's get him signed. But yeah, so Tottenham had an awful season. I thought the signings were good. Conte's obviously a top-level manager as well, but it wasn't to be for them. And then in second place, I think it's pretty obvious who I've got there. It's going to be Liverpool and then Manchester City. So Liverpool, they had a pretty poor season by their standards as well. I mean, they challenged on all four fronts, basically, didn't they, right until the end last season. And then this one just couldn't keep up with the expectations. I think the loss of Mane did not help them at all. And they, of course, did struggle in the end. I think they came fifth. They were fighting for top four right near the end, but they just left it a bit too late, didn't they? But yeah, they had a very, very poor season by their standards. But I do think they're going to bounce back, and I'm sure they'll be back. I think they're looking to sign Alexis McAllister. That's nearly already wrapped up, so that's a good signing for them. They do just need to strengthen that midfield, and I'm sure they'll be fine. Nunez got a year under his belt in the Prem, and I'm sure he's going to score a few goals next season, and we all know Salah will bang as well. And then the obvious selection was Manchester City. I mean, it's the easy pick every year to who's going to win the title. They're just too strong. Their squad is so much better than everyone else's, and with the addition of Erling Haaland, it just looked like a banker, didn't it? It really did. And in the end, it turned out to be. They won, I think, by 4 points, but I mean, they played a second squad in the final game, so it could have been 7 points or more, whatever. But yeah, so Man City won the league. Pretty boring stuff, really. Choose a Man City, but it's the right thing to do because they won the league in the end. And to be honest, I do think they're probably just going to go and win it again next season, but I suppose we'll have to see. So let's move on to my top scorer and player of the year. I'm pretty sure I got this one wrong. So yeah, let's have a look. So for top scorer and player of the year, we did in fact go for Mo Salah. Now, I thought that with Mane dropping out, Salah was going to be the one to step up and absolutely smash it for Liverpool. He didn't have a bad season anyway. I think he got, 19 goals in the league, which is not bad at all. But there was one man who absolutely smashed it, and that was Erling Haaland. Now, I didn't think he'd have a bad season. I didn't think that at all. I did think he'd get a lot of goals. To go out there and get 36 goals in his first season is phenomenal. Like, I didn't think he'd be breaking any records in his first year. So it was obvious that he was going to get goals. Man City, they just create chances for fun. He banged goals in the Bundesliga in a much worse side. And, he obviously is pretty damn clinical. But yeah, 36 goals is a crazy amount. And you know what? It's scary what he's going to do in the league next season. That he's got a year under his belt. The players have got a year to understand, his runs and his movement and stuff like that. De Bruyne, he picks him out for fun. So yeah, I think he could even go and match that next season. I'm hoping that is not the case because don't want to see Man City keep winning the league. It's a bit boring, isn't it? But yeah, that's been my Premier League predictions. So I mean, overall, there were some absolute howlers, wasn't there? There were. So Brentford and Fulham is probably up there as two of the worst. I also put Leicester in 8th, and they got relegated. But then we did get a few right. We got Forest and Everton, and then we got Arsenal getting in the top 4. Does that count as one? Man City win the league. Doesn't really count. It's pretty standard. I thought Villa would have a good season. I got that kind of right as well. So, I mean, overall, it's pretty poor. Like, it's not great. I'm not going to lie. It's not a great prediction lot, but that is why we do it at the end of the day. It's a bit of fun. I don't, claim to be the most knowledgeable person in the world. I will get things wrong, but it is a bit of fun. So yeah, so that has been my reactions to my Premier League predictions. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let's all have a little bit of a laugh about how poorly I made some calls, but anyway, it's a little bit of fun. So thank you all for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Cheers, guys.